like the camel would come for the revenge because he was punched like twice.
Wow, they really are just rolling James Earl Jones out. I just looked at his filmography, and they are literally just rolling him out for like 3 roles now of Mufasa, Darth Vader, and whatever it was he played in Coming to America, because they made that sequel to that.
He was the father.
Yeah, but they've brought that out. But yeah, he's literally
Anyway, let's get started, gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 180. And we're actually doing a double feature just because we decided that the first movie, or rather the first video we're going to look at, is rather short and simple, and it's not that bad, which is amazing for Nostalgia Critic, which is always good. And he has a second one, which is also short, which we haven't quite come to a consensus with what's going on there. So
Nostalgia Critic and shortness go together really well.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Plus, when he's doing the more serious or normal videos, he has these like PSAs or some sort of drive he's pushing for, like research into diseases or helping the poor. Yeah. So he always has like a nice big patter at the end. So it's actually a lot shorter than we think. So when he's not crazy, he does good stuff. Amazing.
I will give him credit for one video. It's his review on the Batman Beyond movie.
Return of the Joker.
Yeah, Return of the Joker. He does a thing about the flashback scene. About how well that flashback scene is done, and that's a really good video by him. It's a serious one without many jokes and stuff.
It's almost like if he doesn't force his stupid humor into a video, then he's actually
good. He's really good at that. He points out all the good stuff, and it's actually quite a good video. And it's just surprising when you watch it, because you don't feel like you're watching a Nostalgia Critic video. It's like
I think that when Nostalgia Critic does, rather than movie reviews, does more like topic editorials, is a lot more focused and doesn't like when should remake happens, what happened to good spoof movies, other such reviews, as opposed to like his movie reviews where he kind of evolves into skits,
into loud noises.
Yeah, kind of like I liked it. I think his Secret of Nim review is actually pretty funny. Like, it's the one I think is infinitely quotable personally, because they'll just go like, "What?"
Okay, well, this video was done in June of 2017. It's got 1.1 million views. So this is actually a good, nice video to watch compared to his other crazier videos, which probably aren't as popular, or I don't know, maybe he's known for his comedy. I'm not sure, but it's a nice change, so I appreciate that.
Yes, it's a good change.
All right, so let's get started.
Yep.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. I don't know if you've noticed, but Hollywood has been out of ideas for a while. No! Okay, you've all noticed, but this can be a good thing and a bad thing. I did a whole editorial about this before, but that's not exactly what I'm going to focus on here today. Today I'm going to focus on a subject matter that, for the most part, has still been making a fair amount of money: the remake. Remakes are nothing new, literally. Since the dawn of cinema, remakes have been very constant, particularly when movies went from silent to sound. Hell, some of the same directors came back to redirect a timeless classic to create another timeless classic. Good thing internet blogs weren't around back then. Remake 10 Commandments? Ha! Next you want to do an anime version with Jeff Goldblum! And somehow it'll actually work. So I'm certainly not going to be a purist and say remakes should never happen. Some of the best films ever made are remakes, improving on the original while still staying faithful and yet also keeping a unique identity. But needless to say, this is often difficult and very rare, hence a lot of the crap we've been getting. Disney, once the Imagineers of bringing classic stories to life, are trying to make classic stories out of their classic stories out of classic stories. It's getting a little carried away. So we naturally need to ask ourselves, when should remakes stop? Well, I guess the best way to answer that is to figure out when remakes should happen. Okay, we all know what Hollywood thinks, but for the sake of good storytelling, I think we can break it down to 3 factors. Number 1, the most obvious, is if it can be made better. A film can be good, even groundbreaking, but still be either dated or not fully explored. Some remakes have become so classic that many people don't even realize they're remakes. Scarface, Fistful of Dollars, True Lies, all based on movies that existed. But the remakes did it so much better that they don't even realize there's an original. I'm honestly surprised there aren't more remakes of bad films. It's been rumored for a while that Drop Dead Fred was gonna get a remake.
Okay, who has actually watched Drop Dead Fred? Like, would anyone?
I
even,
have.
I've seen
not
his
really
review.
watched the movie. I've seen his review, and from what I'm seeing of it, it is Michael Sheen's lowest moment in his career.
Who the fuck's Michael Sheen? It's Rick Mail.
Oh, I thought it was Michael Sheen.
No, it's Rick Mail.
Really?
Message coming in.
Really?
Yeah, it's Rick
Patch
Mail.
it through.
Yeah.
And Drop Dead Fred? Really? I didn't know that.
Drop Dead Fred. Yeah. I've watched. Yeah, I've watched this movie. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
He's the guy
Drop
from The
Dead
Young
Fred,
Ones. He's very noticeable.
Yeah, Young Ones and Bottom, and yeah, he's in a lot of
Anyway,
British comedy.
That's not a movie
He's
I
in Blackadder,
actually.
Lord Flashheart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a movie that I would know or care to watch. So if they remake it, I don't know if there's any audience for it. Be like, yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Considering the fact you just asked 3 other people here and only one of them said, "Yeah, I've seen it."
So yeah, you could turn a piece of crap into something better if it was really not worthwhile to watch in the first place. And there's some director who goes, "I can make a better version of that," and you're like, "Really? A comedy joke thing? Okay."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I know we're talking about like with remakes. Is it classed as remakes or is it just adaptation, or is it just like taking inspiration from movies?
I think it's an actual film, like a previously existing film, and making a new
because
version.
the one in regards to like A Fistful of Dollars, it's just got a similar story, but it's not got like characters or setting or anything. It's just bloke goes into town.
It's kind of interesting.
A very simple story when you think about it.
One interesting thing is when there are multiple adaptations of a book, like with Lord of the Rings, where kind of like, I guess you could classify Peter Jackson's movies as remakes of the animated ones that came out in the 70s and 80s, but it's kind of a weird, apart from the fact that Peter Jackson's are actually quality and Ralph Bakshi's and Rankin Bassett's are kind of bad.
They're just like they're an insane drug-fueled trip.
Yeah. Especially Ralph Bakshi's with the horrible rotoscoping.
Yeah, that is one thing, and the love of skirts and the 70s hair always gets me.
Yeah, and the fact that Aragorn wears no pants is odd.
I honestly like Return of the
pants.
King was worse.
Yeah, where there's a whip, there's a way.
That was great. Anyway, I can think of at least one film which the remake wasn't as good as the original, just because the original was done so well, and the remake just tries to make it more modern, but doesn't really add too much in terms of the drama. It's still a good film. That's the Thomas Crown Affair, which was with Steve McQueen. And the remake was done with Pierce Brosnan. And it's the same exact story, slightly different plot, where he wants to, instead of rob a bank, he wants to rob a art gallery. But they do it in a clever way, so they have like Nina Simone playing in the background while There's all these guys that are paid to dress up to look like the same guys. The police are running around. They don't know who to arrest. So it's just a story of a rich guy who's bored and does some illegal activity just for fun. No one gets hurt. And that's
so
that.
like all rich. Oh, I was gonna say like all rich people, but just go around doing illegal stuff.
One interesting case of a remake is when you remake a movie into a TV show, which has happened twice to my knowledge, and that is the From Dusk Till Dawn on series and the Westworld TV series.
Okay.
So
I wouldn't say, but then again, I wouldn't really say they were done well. So
wasn't like The Shining also like something like that? There was like Shining TV show.
Message coming in.
I think it was a mini series rather than a TV show, but
Right.
but close enough. I think it was partially because Stephen King hated Stanley Kubrick's
Message coming in.
The Shining,
Right.
and he wanted to make it more faithful because he really didn't like Stanley's take-homes.
yeah.
Oh, then there's like shows that are based off movies, like they're offshoots, like the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So it's not really
Or
Terminator?
or the Aladdin.
Well, that's a spin-off.
The Aladdin and Hercules TV shows.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those were a thing, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, the worst type of remake movie was probably like when New Hope was remade and was renamed Force Awakens. Wow, now that was awful.
The soft remake and the soft reboot is. The soft reboot and soft remake is a trend that needs to die.
Yeah.
But besides the joke, I think the recent one I saw was the RoboCop remake from 2014.
Oh right.
That was god awful.
Isn't that really bad? Yeah, I have not heard anybody say anything good about that one.
The worst thing about the new RoboCop movie is there's no transgenderism.
That RoboCop.
I fucking knew it. You would break him.
Just could not get into it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there have
If
been
only
some
Maggie
interesting.
would tell us how to think about it.
There have been some interesting miniseries that like Sarah Connor, like Total Recall 2023 or whatever the hell it was called. There's all those weird sort of let's get some kitschy little art department to make some props and sets, and we'll try to pull it together. La Femme Nikita is an example, turning stuffing into a TV series that works. And you don't know, like it's all random. And I see that in Canada, there's all these random, silly stories. Like there was a TV series based off the Vampire the Masquerade game called Kindred, and no one knew about it. Yeah, it was in the 90s. It was awesome.
Oh.
It was awesome. I was like, that's pretty cool. It's not amazing, but it's for what they did. I was like, okay, they can't do all the clans, but they got enough to get the makeup department to do the Nosferatu properly, and the Prince was good. Like it all just worked. I'm like, wow, this is great. And it only went on for like 6 or 7 episodes or whatever. But wow, pretty impressive.
What would you call the Naked Gun movies then? 'Cause they take heavily from the plot from the 4 episodes of Police Squad.
Yeah, you're right.
Would that be a remake, or is it just adaptation?
That'd be a spoof.
No.
Wouldn't that be a parody or satire?
Well, yeah, but it's based off of...
Police. Police. Naked Gun. They had a very short-lived series, and there's only 4 episodes called Police Squad.
Yes.
In 1982, and if you watch those 4 episodes, you can see a lot of the jokes that appear in the Naked Gun movies.
Right.
So is that remaking those episodes into a longer plot, or is that just adaptation?
It's the same concept, just taking it with a different producer. So we want to make a series of TV shows originally, and it only went for so long, not too many people liked it or whatever. Then it's like the same guys, let's do it again, only we're going to get a bigger producer, and they're going to target the silver screen. So it's the same show, but with slightly bigger budgets for focused narrative. But it's basically a big joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's all kinds of flavors of remakes and reboots and soft and hard. And it's interesting how these things can and cannot work well, and it's it's a combination of things, but it really still comes down to whether it's a good story that's entertaining and fun to watch.
I think what the major problem with a lot of what people have problems with remakes is the soulless remakes, the ones where you just watch it and you go, why have you done this movie?
I know that
it was perfectly fine.
When you compare it to like on-running series like Star Trek, like there's so many, like you had TNG and then DS9 went up and then Voyager went up, and they're kind of playing at the same time almost. Like, why would I watch DS9 when I already like TNG, and then DS9 got better? You're like, I'll keep watching that. And then Voyager comes up. Oh, it's because not too many people like DS9. And then people like Voyager. Then they stop watching Voyager, but that was the only thing that was on. And then Enterprise came out. Oh, you can watch Enterprise. So it's like, what flavor of space opera or sci-fi do you want? And people
then,
just shooting in the dark.
Discovery came along, and all the Trek fandom came together and watched that amazingly wonderful program.
Yeah.
Then they took it off from TV to just like make it like an Amazon exclusive.
Yep. It was glorious.
Yeah, I think my interest.
Hey, it's popular.
The only interest I have for sci-fi has just been The Expanse, and because it went to Amazon, I forgot about it. So
that's something. There's been some. You know Babylon 5, don't you?
I love Babylon 5.
I just remembered a couple of remakes. The He-Man remake.
Delen's actress has passed away.
Yeah, Mira Furlan just died a few days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, that was kind of upsetting.
I just remembered like TV.
There's a lot of... No one wants to remake that series.
Yeah, it's in that 800 by 600 aspect ratio. It's the CGI is really old. It could really use a remake or update to all the space fights.
It could like receive something like what Star Trek TOS got with the CGI, at least.
Yeah.
But what's funny is it's like no one's ever gone and said, "Oh, let's try and do it again."
Well,
it just seems like
the problem is because of the producers that JMS got involved with, there was so much studio involvement that even the sequel, like Crusade, ended up screwing up. The movies he tried making were garbage.
Didn't they?
Yeah, so he's sort of given up on that. And unless there's
was it TNT Productions or something?
It was through Spike TV in the States, I think. I can't remember exactly how that works, but yeah, it started off with TNT, then Paramount got involved for I don't know how long, and then back to TNT. So yeah, it like the design of the costumes were from the producers, and it's like, why are you getting your fingers in this? And the casting, the episodes were filmed out of order, and they had to fix stuff.
Well, the finale was filmed during season 4. They got pushed all the way back to the end of season 5, so it was like completely out of place.
Oh yeah, there was all kinds of crazy things happening with the personal lives of some of the actors. One of the guy had a severe case of dementia, so they had to write him out of the story carefully.
Is it like, I think it was Michael O'Hara? I think
that was Sinclair.
The guy who played Sinclair. No, he had a serious brain condition,
right?
And he was losing his mind, and he died not long after.
I know, it was a strange story. What the interesting thing about those people, the guy who played the attaché to Londo, what the hell is his name? He needed I can't remember. He needed a kidney transplant, and because the show was popular, one of the fans gave him his kidney. Like it was just like,
what the hell?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like the fact that these people were sick and struggling and whatever. He needed a donor and he got one. It was amazing. So little things like that.
I just thought of a good remake. I just thought there's another good remake, Dread 2020. Well, Dread 2012.
Oh yeah,
that one way better than Stallone, but that's because Stallone's one is really cheesy and bad.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's utterly. See, I can understand remaking that, but is that a remake of that, or is it just an adaptation of the comic?
It's kind of like
yeah.
It's kind of like looking at
because is Batman Begins a remake of Batman 1989? You know what I mean? It's like
when you have stuff like Batman
adaptation, yeah.
Or like Sherlock Holmes. Like Sherlock Holmes happens to be open, but anyone can take it. There's so much material to pull in.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's movies or animated stuff or the short stories or other people's take, like it's like, what is it? It's Sherlock. You're going to tell a story about Sherlock in the 29th century or something. Like you're going to do whatever. Yeah. So it's no longer remaking something because it's open and because there's so many things that came before. Like imagine doing Batman, and we're seeing it this year eventually with The Batman. And to me, that's a remake because we've never seen Batman like that before. I'm sure we've seen a flavor of Batman in an Elseworlds comic, which is like this, but I've never read that. Yeah. Like I wouldn't know where to look. So to me, that's totally new. Like I would never imagine to have the actor from the vampire stories,
Robert Pattinson. Yeah,
Robert Pattinson.
He's really moved on. He's really moved on from that role.
Yeah,
he's surprisingly like got out of that sparkling shadow.
I know. Yeah, it's amazing. So
good to him.
I know he knows their crap, and he's like, "What the hell?" Well, he didn't understand the actor or the motivation of his own character. He's like, "What the hell am I doing?"
No. He's like, no. He asked the director, "What's my motivation?" And the director went, "You stand there and look pretty."
Should we keep going with this video? Maybe
let me read the super chats. We'll keep on going. Yeah. Mike Testa, thank you. His Dark Toon review of Courage broke me on how out of touch he is with those shows. Keep him as far away from Courage as possible. What's Courage exactly? Is that the
Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Oh, I was thinking of Brave. Yes. Sorry. All right. A little different there. All right. Mike Test again. Is that better understanding of what I say for once?
Yes, we understood what you said. Yes.
Yes, I think we got you. Okay.
No, because last time he sounded like he was drunk.
Oh, I gotcha.
He gave like 5 super chats right at the end, and each one got less and less eligible. And it got to the point where he's either drinking, struggling with his autocorrect, or he's having a stroke, and someone should call an ambulance.
Oh dear. There were a few odd super chats. I wasn't sure about the grammar or what someone was trying to say. We just went, I don't know. So anyway, Roxas Uzi, hey, how's it going? Hi Smud. On the concept of remakes in both media and video games, I'm okay with them. I like making things more modern. Yeah, that's one of the major reasons to do a remake is to modernize it. So taking Romeo and Juliet, making a movie out of that and modernizing it. Kind of weird, especially when the language is all the same. Romeo, was it Romeo Must Die? No, that was a crazy Jet Li flick. But actual Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio, and they have swords printed on their whatever guns, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, kind of.
Yeah, it's. I always remember watching. What was it? Much Ado About Nothing, with Denzel Washington and Keanu Reeves in Old English during my at school, and it's very weird watching that movie. Denzel Washington comes across as a more realistic Italian noble from the 15th century than Keanu Reeves does.
That was right after Bill and Ted, I think, when he got popular.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, keep on going.
Coming in.
Joe Crazy.
Patching it through.
The only Bakshi film I've seen was Wizards. Wizards the film.
Ooh. Yeah, Wizards is an interesting movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cartoon. It's got Mark Hamill in it. It was done in '77, same year as Star Wars.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it's really you can tell they ran out of money at the end.
It seems to be a common thing with his movies.
Because to solve the problem, the good magical wizard just uses it as a gun and shoots the bad guy, and the film ends. And it's just that's it. It's like, oh, okay, that's over, I guess.
Mm.
But it's a cool little film. If you just want to watch something, it's quite interesting.
All right.
We got another one from Solid Redfield.
There we go. Thank you, Solid Redfield. Speaking of remakes, how do you feel about the coming remake of Resident Evil 4? I read the other day that Capcom's main internal development team has taken over the project. I don't know. I think Resident Evil is going to be around for a long, long time. And what they've done with the recent Resident Evil is on the right track. I love the way it looks. Creepy big mansion. That's the standard horror genre. Really great looking graphics. Throw in some sexuality in there.
Village or something?
What is it? Yeah, religious aspects, occult, vampires. Go crazy. Keep it simple, but go crazy. Yeah, I like the aesthetic.
All I've seen on Twitter and everything about the new Resident Evil game is why'd I run away from these ladies? I'd let them kill me.
Oh dear.
And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god, guys, seriously.
There's so many stories in the well, not even that, but video games that have the seductress who's out to kill you, and they're like they're literally out to kill you, and it's like don't do that. Don't give in to the evil crazy lady who's sexy and can murder people with their mind. Like, don't do that. So
don't. Not good for your health.
Even Mass Effect 2 did something stupid like that. It's like, you can have the option.
Oh,
totally.
Fucking hell. Don't even. Oh, jeez. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, well.
Hi, I can kill you with sex. Oh. Okay. Do you want to have sex with me? Yeah, go on then. No. No.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay. Let's keep going.
Good! The rocks!
Message coming in.
The idea of an imaginary friend taking over your mind as an adult, though, is actually kind of a cool idea. I'd love to see this concept explored and done a lot better than this. People ask me if I'm against the idea of Garbage Pail Kids being remade. Why the hell would I? The original is the worst film I have seen in my life. The cards deserve better. Remake the shit out of it. Hell, it can't get any worse. Heck.
I don't know. That was pretty terrifying.
There wouldn't be any audience for it.
Garbage Pail Kids is awful. It is so bad.
Yeah. Smud, our viewing figures have just gone down to 0.
Yeah.
The clip was played.
Like that is like a serious looking movie. Is that like for kids or for fun? Like, what is that?
It is technically for kids. It is technically for kids.
Wow.
Yeah, it's for kids so they have nightmares for the rest of their lives.
It looks like, hey, we could do this in a cartoon for Saturday morning for kids, but let's make a movie live action. Like, why? No.
Yeah, it was during the 80s where everything had to be live action for some reason.
So one of the weirdest aspects of the movie is the bad guys are the state home for the ugly, and you see Abe Lincoln and Santa Claus in there, and apparently these like agents of the stay home for the ugly are searching for these Garbage Pail Kids to put them in there along with Santa Claus and Abe Lincoln.
Oh.
Why would Santa Claus and Abe Lincoln be put in an
jail? I don't know. It's just they're in there along with the garbage.
Then again, why am I asking about problems with the plot within the Garbage Pail Kids movie? I shouldn't really be.
Well, think of it this way.
Deep into it.
Think of it this way: if they were to remake The Room, I don't think there's a need for that because it's a bad film that had high production value, but everything else was like the story, the acting, like was just garbage.
You mispronounced world-class Oscar-worthy film.
Oh,
it's perfect. Why would you ever have to change it?
I don't know if it like had high production value. Really, I think it had
They built at least 3 sets. That's high production.
They also had money to film on location as well.
And had 2 different cameras and had 2 different cameras for no reason.
They had a good dog.
Because real Hollywood,
managed to get a well-trained dog.
It's a real Hollywood movie.
Hi, doggy.
My movie. It'll be great.
Like I don't think,
Come on, Mark.
like unless the purpose was to do something even cornier, without trying to be exaggerative, because you want to maintain the quality of the original.
What a story, Smud.
Oh, hi, Smud.
Yeah, so that's why I think the documentary or the mockumentary, whatever you wanted to call it, was right on the money. Yeah, Disaster Artist. That was perfect.
Yeah, with
the Disaster Artist is amazing.
Yeah.
That movie's amazing. Like
It's
the fact that, like, they're fully like going into the fact that Joe, he's crazy.
Yeah, he is.
Message coming in.
Yeah.
Patching it through.
All right, Kyle Rocket. Thank you, sir. We need a remake of Lollipop Chainsaw just to piss off SJW and Puritans. Best Morning Nonsense episode ever. Really, Lollipop Chainsaw. Okay. I mean, you have to like that.
Is that a video game?
Yeah, it's a video game.
Yeah.
It was like directed by the James Gunn. I think that's his name. The Guardians of the Galaxy guy.
Yeah, James Gunn. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
James Gunn was a trauma dude before he got famous.
Yeah,
he made
trauma,
a lot of schlocky, cheaper than oxygen movies.
Yep. Still having to wait on our Trumanite on sloppy seconds for Nymphoid Barbarian in Dinosaur Hell.
All right.
That's a film and a half.
Yeah. Here's Joe Crazy. Garbage Pail Kids, the movie sponsored by Pepsi. No, seriously. Really? Holy crap.
Yep.
It's sponsored by Pepsi. Dang. Well, it does have Pepsi all over the place.
Oh.
And at one point, I think there's like a beauty show where the Garbage Pail Kids are ripping off the models' dresses and they're running around screaming in their underwear at one point, which is a weird choice.
Pass next question.
Okay.
I don't know where to go from that.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah, we can remake bad movies. Yeah, by all means, remake bad movies. It's just
sometimes they're so bad that there's nothing redeemable about them.
Yeah, but if you're gonna remake it, at least have a passion behind it, and not just we're just gonna do it. Have some passion behind making a movie.
Even a bad movie can be remade badly, just as badly, or maybe like just bad as opposed to crap. If like somebody just doesn't care, you get astonishingly boring as opposed to memorably stupid, I guess.
Yeah, it was like at that period in the mid 2000s where they were remaking a lot of the historical epics. I say epics, like historical movies with stuff.
Ben-Hur.
Yeah,
Ben-Hur
and then they also
remake that was pretty bad.
They redid the Alamo, which was really boring. It was a really boring slog of a movie, and the actual fight of the Alamo was in pitch black, and you couldn't see anything. Which was a bit like, well, we're here for the movie. Oh, okay. I guess we're just gonna watch Billy Bob Thornton like 10 minutes afterwards getting stabbed. Okay, cheers, thanks, great for that, great movie. But yeah, they made a lot of the remakes like in the mid 2000s just dull slugs.
All right, one more. Solid Redfield. What we really need is a remake of Killer 7 where the story is actually complete. I thought they did a remake of Killer 7 a few years ago.
I think they ported it to PC.
Oh, that's all? They just remastered it?
I don't know.
Yeah. I couldn't say.
It's such a niche, weird story game thing on Rails.
Yes.
So
It's very niche.
to turn it into a remaster is like you really got to be careful to make sure it works okay. But apparently it wasn't well received. I can't recall.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was really underground because I think like I could buy like a copy for like €2 or €3. That was crazy.
Oof.
Like, they were like begging
Wow.
you to like please buy a copy of this game
That's
because they
like-
had like
That's
a
like
shelf
6
full of them.
cents.
Yes.
Sounds like Fallout 76. Oh,
Except this game was
they,
good.
in Fallout 76, they're giving the customers money to take the game.
oh boy, Kyle Rocket. We really need a remake of Bloody Roar. Does anyone remember Bloody Roar? Wow, holy crap! That is a fighting
what?
game with
No.
crazy combos, very similar to Killer
that
Instinct.
one. Yes, I remember.
I think I might have seen my cousins play that, but I can't remember. I can't actually remember. There's been so many games in my lifetime.
I know.
There's been so many different
Message coming in.
things.
Patching it through.
Oh man, I remember playing this, but I never remembered the name.
Yeah. Was it banned? I can't remember if they banned it because it was too violent. I don't recall. It was one of these games.
It's so funny when you hear these sort of games get banned. When you actually look at them, you're like, "Oh, how quaint!"
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at those graphics. Isn't that cute? 16 bits. Wow.
Oh. When the blood's more orange. Than
Yeah,
actual
when the
blood colour.
polygon count of the characters is like 4 digits. Like, oh,
Yeah. Oh.
1,000 polys. That's great.
Yeah, I think I've only heard like one infamous story. Like there's the Nintendo game called Mother 3. It's like in the West it's called Earthbound, but like the sequel to that game was never released to the West because it has some questionable things. Like
Yeah.
a kid dies on the screen or something like that, and apparently
okay.
that's too controversial for Nintendo to handle.
Yeah,
But,
that was
like,
the
kind
Mother
of
series.
games that they ship nowadays. I think that's very tame.
Yeah.
Well, shall we keep going?
Yes, sir. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Is there a Batman and Robin remake in the near future? It'd be nice to see Mr. Freeze done right.
No,
Though
it's
if he's
already
anything
perfect.
like what they're doing with the Joker. Oh, don't make me choose which one is worse! But okay, we get the idea. If something could be improved on, improve on it. If it's broke, don't fix it, make another one from scratch. It's safe to say
my
as
God.
long as the original still exists, Lucas, another version is not an unwelcomed idea. Which brings me to the second reason to do a remake, expanding on a concept. Now this is different than just making something better, it's taking one element of the original idea and exploring it more. In fact, a franchise that did this both a good way and a bad way is Planet of the Apes. Tim Burton is one of the most famous directors that coined the phrase reimagining. He said he didn't want to improve on the original film, he just wanted to take it in a different direction. It just so happened that direction sucked. Years later, another Planet of the Apes film would come along with a similar thought. Apes ruling the planet. However, this focused more on how it happened, similar to how some of the later Apes films went. And now it seems to be going in a new direction that seems entirely its own.
Yeah, and a lot of people like these new films. So,
Yeah, I think that the new Planet of the Apes movies are the best of the series. Period. And like, especially like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was one of my favorite movies of 2014. To be perfectly honest, up there with Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I think the original
It's alright.
still holds up better than
Oh, yeah,
these remakes, but yeah, it was okay.
The original is what everyone thinks of when it comes to Planet of the Apes.
Yes,
And
it's too iconic.
Yeah. Not saying that the new ones are bad. I'm just saying that if you talk to someone about Planet of the Apes, they always think of Charlton Heston.
yeah.
Yes.
That is,
And when
that
people
is
have nightmares, they
true,
think of the
but
Mark Wahlberg
sequel
one.
is-
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello.
So yeah, but that's the thing. It's like this remake, even though it's not as iconic as the original, it's still a good movie.
Yeah, it's really
Uh,
solid.
Yeah.
It's its own thing.
And honestly, like I think that like the
Mhm.
And honestly, I think that the sequels surpass Rise of the Planet of the Apes. To be perfectly honest,
Oh yeah.
like Dawn and War are better
Yeah.
than Rise, and they're even better than the original.
In that regard,
Yeah.
we're talking about a franchise doing well to be a franchise. That's why they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
something like the Thomas Crown Affair is totally fine, just doing as its own thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
You leave it alone until another 30 years from now they want to remake it. So
Yeah.
Or even Ocean's 11 isn't as far as I remember, Ocean's 11 was a remake, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
There was an Ocean's 11 in the 50s, I think.
Okay.
Well, please don't talk about the female like Ocean's 8. That was something
The
I
what?
want to not remember.
But what?
Exactly.
That was really boring.
Yeah.
That was kind of boring, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't understand. Mark's talking crazy again.
Might be by
Eastern
joke.
Europeans.
now that you're mentioning women, everything is going to bring up the concept of the Ghostbusters being remade, and you're like, oh, that had women.
But what?
That
There was a
movie,
remake.
We don't talk about that one. We don't talk
The
about
what?
that.
What are all you people on about? Why are they remake a movie with women in it? Who wants to see women in movies?
Yeah.
Women don't sell tickets.
Why are you talking all crazy?
I like seeing appealing women.
Ah, there's an idea.
Well, it's Ghostbusters 2016,
I
but
don't-
just appalling women.
Yes,
I
it has
just
a
want to be
grinning
entertained.
hyena, and it has a grinning personified hyena woman, and eventual personified cheetah woman.
Well, okay, but look at the
literally.
the
Yeah.
Netflix adaptation of what they're doing now, where they're taking that franchise and giving it an appeal, which is already attractive, very similar to, let's say, how Stargate took the appeal from Battlestar Galactica and made their own version of that. Now, that changes the style and the tone of the original Ghostbusters, but you think there's going to be an audience for it, and you're throwing it on Netflix to see how it does. I don't know how it's going to do. It looks
Message
okay
coming in.
in theory, the same
That's
way Stargate Universe looked good in theory until you
What
actually went, oh.
What are they doing with Ghostbusters? What are they actually doing with Ghostbusters? I don't.
Yeah, I was just
I'm
going to
out
say
of
that.
the loop with that.
The
I
Netflix-
heard it was Ghostbusters Afterlife, then that was it, and now all of a sudden Spud's gone Netflix things. I'm like, wait, what?
You're not familiar with the Ghostbusters on Netflix?
No.
Really? Is it Netflix or some other streaming service?
I'm not familiar with any Ghostbusters on any streaming service.
Really? It's basically
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
it's there's a trailer that came out years ago for
Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I thought that was going to be a movie, but then now you're saying it's a TV thing.
Oh, it's
and
an-
now
oh,
I
it's an
was like,
actual-
Yeah,
okay.
they pushed Afterlife back because of COVID. As far as I know,
Yeah.
it's still going to come out to theaters.
really.
Yeah,
In 10
Unlike-
years.
unlike James Bond movie, which
All
has been
right.
delayed again.
I was getting confused with the actual Stranger Things because that's on Netflix, and it's pretty much what is on Netflix is what they're appealing to. So the same concept.
Oh yeah, okay, I get you now.
Yeah, the same way that
Yeah.
Stargate Universe was took the style of Battlestar Galactica and tried to capture that audience.
Yeah, Strange Things took the style of
Yeah.
I know.
That's
I know
what I was
coming
getting.
in.
Yes.
I didn't know it was not
Patching it
Yes.
through.
going to do that. Oh, okay, cool. There we are.
Okay.
Well, is it going to work? I have no idea. It'll probably do better than 2016, though, just in principle.
Oh,
You can't-
definitely.
You can't do worse.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you see, the thing with the 2016 Ghostbusters was they were actively, taking shots at the fans.
Yeah, they were actually
they
taking
were
shots at the
constantly
fans.
like, oh yeah, they were taking
with the
constant
idea
shots at
that
the fans.
this would start a franchise going again. It's like, okay.
Yeah, the director taking
Keep
backseat
dreaming.
and improvised.
Mhm.
the
Keep
entire thing.
dreaming. Keep
Almost.
dreaming, dude. Keep dreaming.
Meanwhile, Ryan Johnson's like, I like your style, kid.
Mhm.
Yeah. God, what a time to be alive, eh? So many
Yeah.
smouldering ruins of franchises.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
in the year of COVID, there's not much.
And now is the time to rebuild.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
much you could do
Yeah.
about it. So,
show we video.
Yeah.
Super chats, and we get to the video. Mike Testa, Mark, you mean the Red Sea edition of Ocean's 11? The Red Sea.
Red Sea edition?
What is that?
What do you mean by that?
Oh dear.
We'll explain when you're.
All right,
Red
joke.
Sea edition.
Okay. Rox is using.
Why these jokes?
Oh, the jokes. The jokes.
No.
Very funny.
I'm slightly out of the loop. Please explain to me.
That was good.
Because there's ladies in
it. Oh,
Oh my god. Dunn's like, I'm at the loop. Oh no.
Right.
Oh, I get it now.
All right. Let's keep going.
I guess that's
Rox is Uzi. I only want 2D women in my films. Okay. One of the big old okay, we get it. Like Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. Speaking of which, I love the remake Square did. I think a lot of people did for many reasons. They put a lot of effort. So much padding though. That's the problem I have with the remake is because of the design of Final Fantasy VII. If you look at the original game, there's a lot of puzzles and navigation through a level to get through to A to B, and they just ran with that, but just in higher definition with better graphics and fully voice acted. So obviously you're going to love it more because it's like, oh, just what I wanted. But there's so much. And they could not release one game. They had to release part 1 or whatever the hell it's called, which annoys me because that
How
thing
many
was
parts are there going to be anyway?
Could not tell you. I have no idea. It took so long to come out.
Yes.
And that's what you got for it. And I'm like, it's great, but after all that time, it's not even half done or whatever.
Yeah, well, I heard that you pretty much just get out of Midgard, and that's the first
I know.
release. It's crazy.
The entire world of Final Fantasy VII is still out there, and you haven't touched it. Like, wow. But I do think it's better than doing a series of movies, which they also did. Which is entertaining.
Those movies, yeah.
But it's real. They're really geez, guys, you learned your lesson in the movie theater. Stop doing that.
Advent Children.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
There were some problems with that one. Anyway, I'm sure people love the seeing their characters in high def and all this jazz. Not saying you can't enjoy what you like, just saying strive for a little higher quality there, Square. Anyway, keep on going.
King Kong has been remade tons of times. In the Peter Jackson version, it's still the same story, but more time is dedicated to giving Kong and our heroine more time together, creating a stronger connection. 12 Monkeys was originally a half-hour sci-fi film shown only in still pictures, but that blossomed into a motion-filled apocalyptic future that took elements from the film and expanded on it. And some of these tie into the number 3 reason to do a remake, creating a whole new experience. Whether it's a different point of view, a new culture, or even a new time period, as long as the identity of the film seems unique, despite it having origins from another source, it can work. Magnificent Seven is famously a remake of Seven Samurai. Both have the same plot, but are set in different time periods and location. Films like The Ring, Birdcage, and The Departed are all remakes of foreign classics. Telling these great stories in different cultures shows both the differences and the similarities between the two, making it interesting what they have to change and what they have to keep the same. Okay, so we have 3 reasons when remakes should be done. I guess when they shouldn't be done is the opposite reasons. If a remake needs to stand out, then logically the first sign not to do a remake is when people can't separate it from the original.
Okay, so whoa.
Perfect.
Whoa!
Yeah, I was wondering when he was going to bring that up.
So he brought up Willy Wonka. This is a great example because Willy Wonka could have been great. The remake could have been great. Yeah. And they could have modernized it. They could have made the music great. The sets great. Like they could have done that. They didn't try.
I'm just going to say something. You know how bad this remake is people can't even call it the right name. Because it's not Willy Wonka, it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I actually do make that mistake. Yeah, I can't separate the two.
Yeah.
The first one is so iconic, though.
This one's amazing.
It's such an amazing movie. Yeah, the first one, the original is amazing, and the remake suffers from pedophilic seeming Michael Jackson as Willy Wonka, played by Johnny Depp.
Yeah. It also suffers from the fact that Tim
Nailed
Burton
it.
started going insane.
You see, I actually think
Tim Burton really went insane around this time period.
I honestly
Every
thought
that he made.
the Tim Burton
the same.
aesthetic could have worked. It was weird enough to work, but it was this creepy vibe. Like he was just doing Tim Burton again. It's like, Tim, okay, this is a cool playground for you to work in, but why are you creeping the hell out of everyone with it? Like, what's going on? And it wasn't just the set design. It was the acting. It was the Johnny Depp character. Like he was enslaving these things with chocolate or whatever. It was like, what the hell are they doing?
Yes. Yeah. The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory 2005 version, for some reason, the whole thing just gives off pedo vibes to me. It's that weird and creepy. It just really creeps me out. The whole movie does.
Wow.
I can't.
Inquisitor Matthias actually likes the remake and the original. Interesting.
Yeah, but he's Brazilian, so he's wrong about a lot of things.
Damn it, Hawk.
Well, come on. South America, they all speak Spanish apart from Brazil. Come on. They can't even get their own languages right. That's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Johnny Depp is really bad in it, and what's his name, Freddie
Highmore.
Or Highmore, or whatever, however you pronounce it. He's really bad in this as well.
He is so bland. He is so bland.
Yeah, you almost forget that he's in it, to be honest, because you mainly remember Johnny Depp whenever you think of this movie. You kind of forget Charlie, to be honest.
Yeah,
until there's like that quote he says,
also,
like Candy doesn't have a point or something like that.
Yeah, I think that just Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka leaves such a bad taste in your mouth that the blandness of Freddie Moore just kind of you forget about how like lackluster his performance is as compared to the explosion of crap on the screen.
Also, I don't think the child actors in the new one are as good as the child actors in the old one. They're quite bland, to be honest. Also, I was kind of disappointed because the original Augustus Gloop looks like a younger Goldfinger, and this new one just looks like
fat little kid, fat little German kid,
fat little shit. That's about it.
Should we keep going and see what more we can get?
I get a feeling a lot of the Ghostbusters reboot controversy, I'm still putting controversy in quotes, is because the original was so unique and one of a kind that no one could separate it.
Okay, that's a small element, but it really comes down to just doing a bad movie.
Not funny. It's a painful movie to watch.
Yeah, I've seen it once, and
I've seen the trailer.
I had to go for a long walk.
Yeah,
I saw EFEP's coverage and the trailer, and I was just like, "Oh, this looks painful. This is just awful."
Like, imagine taking a popular brand like Coke, and they want to like do their own, I don't know,
is Pepsi okay?
Their own version of McDonald's. I don't like pick any franchise, and they're going to jump into that space. They got to actually compete with how other people do it. So there's a level of quality to establish. I don't think there was a level of understanding between what they were trying to do to make a coherent, focused narrative. And instead, they just went random with a bunch of talent. Say, hey, you're funny. Do funny stuff on screen, and we'll record you. And ad-lib everything. It's like, wait. No. Don't do that.
And dance numbers. Forget dance numbers. Constant dance numbers.
Off screen with a stick. Come on, do funny. Like, poking Melissa McCarthy. Come on, do funny. You funny. And she's like, I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys...
They just started randomly saying things, and you're like,
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have
constantly talking. Nobody ever stopped talking. Constantly talking.
If you've ever done video editing or audio editing or music, you'll have producers ask the video editor or the sound editor, "Can you have a button which makes it sound cooler?" Or a dial that you could turn up the thing that makes it sound good. Like they literally don't know what they're talking about. They assume that this is just a dial or button you press on the keyboard. So it's like, what is this film? Like, what are you trying to fix? What are you trying to do new?
Stop dancing.
Yeah, but it was like there were scenes where they'd just be talking to each other, and you're like, "What are you driveling on about? What has this got to do with anything?" But get on with the movie. It's isn't
there a queefing joke at one point?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we continue with the video?
Yeah, but Dunn, they say the queefing joke, and then they get really loud, and that's funny because people like loud.
Oh, and then they explain it too, like, "Oh, would it be hilarious if I told you it was from the front?"
No, it wasn't. Anyway, here's my solicitor's paperwork telling you that you've got a restraining order. Please don't come near me.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it may have had a better shot, or even a spin-off. But when people hear the word reboot, it's like saying, now this is what you're gonna think of when you hear Ghostbusters. Even though everyone will clearly think of this first. A lot of Universal Monster movies are trying to get remade. And despite most of them being based on classic works, it's hard to not think of Karloff as Frankenstein, or Lugosi as Dracula, or Chaney as the Wolfman. And according to American box office, neither can anyone else. Oddly enough, the ones that seem the most ridiculous, like The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, at least went in such a different direction that we can.
That was a good movie. I will stand my ground.
But how is anyone going to say, yeah, Johnny Depp? That's the first thing I think of when I hear Willy Wonka. Gene who? Some movies leave such an impact that it makes it harder to do a version that can survive on its own without constantly coming back to the original. If you don't have something super good or incredibly unique in mind when remaking an icon, you're not going to be the definitive version. But it can also backfire the other way, like the number 2 reason not to do a remake. We just do the exact same thing. Beauty and the Beast had this bad. So many of the lines, visuals, and songs were all seen before and done better in the animated version.
Okay, so this is kind of funny because he just said, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So I see nothing wrong with remaking or doing live action adaptation by taking the keyframes or the storyboards or the lines or the whatever drama that you took from the original and doing it again. Why not? That's cool. I actually enjoyed the live-action Beauty and the Beast. It was very well put together. It was almost not a direct copy, but it worked. I thought it was great. It wasn't new. It wasn't anything special, but yeah, it looked good.
Could that be down to hearing the same lines but said by a different person?
Yes.
So it doesn't quite register in your brain. Something seems off.
Because the original is so good, right? And you're like, oh, I remember Beauty and the Beast. And then you see it in live action, like, wow, what a nice adaptation. What a nice interpretation of Belle's house or where she read books or Gaston. And the music's pretty much the same. It's really, like, it's actually really cool to watch a bunch of people in a bar talk about how awesome Gaston is. And it's, he's rubbing his ego, like, oh, I'm great, okay. Like, it's fun. It's, to me, honestly, it's like going to not the cinema, to the stage and watching Les Mis.
Oh, right, yeah.
And you see Les Mis as it originally was, of course, on the stage. Wonderful music, wonderful production, and it's small. With a movie, it's huge. You can go anywhere. You have CGI, you got giant sets, you got fantastic vistas and camera angles. It's the same concept. It's a musical on the screen. So if you like stage musicals, you're going to like live action musicals. Why not?
Honestly, my favorite adaptation of Les Mis is actually the Liam Neeson and Jeffrey Rush one, where it's not really a musical. It's more just a straightforward drama.
Right.
All right.
Right. Because if you look at the live action Les Mis, movie, they make it into a musical and you're like, oh, okay. I mean, that could work. And then you watch it and you're like, oh, this is
Russell
not...
Crowe is not really singing that well.
You can't really sing.
Yeah,
And
well,
I'm Javert. Do not forget my name.
Oh my, no. Don't remind me.
mm,
Russell, we love you, but buddy, please don't do that ever again.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
one
all
of
comes down
those,
to, do you have the quality figured out? If you're doing a copy,
mhm.
what are you changing to make it better? Because if it's not better, or if it's not broken, don't change it. So
Mhm.
I see nothing wrong with reinventing the Ferrari or reinventing this or that film, so long as all the quality that makes it lovable and likable is there. And if you want to do something new with the spoiler, or I don't know, V6 or V16 or whatever crazy designs you're doing, make it workable, make it functional, make it consumable, and we're fine. Everything else is fine.
My question is, though, to Smud, is that like the description you gave, is that like, would that apply for the Lion King remake?
It depends.
The Lion King remake.
Because like,
is
yes,
the same movie and with animation.
Yeah,
pretty much like the same storyboards, I would say as well.
Yeah, when you look at the Lion King, because they're animals, you have
They were going for this realistic look, yeah.
it's tough because you're suddenly jumping into the uncanny valley when you're doing that, and you're putting up a lot of hurdles you have to overcome. Is this worth it to jump through that hoop? So with the CGI,
Yeah, see, that's my problem with the Les Miserables remake and stuff, because the uncanny valley of French people being likable. So very difficult for me.
So, sorry guys, but I gotta bounce. Unfortunately, I gotta bounce, but fortunately,
okay.
like, this isn't too bad, so I don't feel bad at leaving you alone with this.
well, thanks, Dunn.
Alrighty, see you later.
Alright.
Have a great
See you
night.
later.
See ya.
See you, man. Bye.
Yeah, so when you're talking about quality and maintaining the quality, jumping from Lion King to live action is much more difficult. So
Yes, because like
Yeah,
the
but
magic that like
it's also is it live action though?
it's
because
considered
still-
like officially live action badly. Like,
I wouldn't
Yes.
call it. I wouldn't call that live action because it's not.
neither
really-
would I, but like they claim it to be live action, and I want to know why, because it's just okay. I can't
because
believe
it's
that
not
there are some
2D
shots.
animation. Is that why?
Yeah, it's animated, so it shouldn't be live action, but like they claim it to be. That's
Right.
my
Yeah,
problem.
but Mark, animation's so easy nowadays anyway, so anyone can do animation.
I know.
You only went to university to study it. It's fine. Don't worry.
I didn't study that.
Huh? Oh, right. I'm making a joke at your expense. Don't worry about it. We can move on with this video.
all right, let's keep going.
So unique and awe-inspiring when they first did it. So why would we want to see non-singers and non-expressive actors do the same thing? Gus Van Sant tried a very strange experiment with the movie Psycho, doing a shot-for-shot reenactment. That's
Oh, yeah,
literally doing the
yeah.
exact same thing, except now all the freshness is sucked out of it and we can notice the flaws even more. What would this accomplish? Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween at first looked like
Okay, so you're trying to, like, Psycho's a very unique kind of film by a very unique writer and director, so trying to copy a
Yeah, but
genius is a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but that have you seen the remake of Psycho?
No.
Smud? Yeah, when he says it's a shot for shot, it is literally shot for shot. It's a complete copy.
Not to mention, you have Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you do. Yeah. That's how did he even become an actor?
Wow.
Still baffles me. But
I mean, he's a great
yeah.
comedy actor, but like putting him in a movie like this, it's like,
yeah.
I mean, I expect him to like pull out like a beer or something and like
yeah,
do some goofy shit.
The thing that turned me off Vince Vaughn as an actor is in the second Jurassic Park movie, where he tries to make out that he's a badass, and I'm like, yeah, all right then, sure.
I didn't really mind him in that movie. That was the first movie
fine.
I ever saw him in, you know. So I don't really mind it.
He's fine. He's fine until he says that the line, Hammond thought they might come along, so he sent her a backup plan. Who's that? Me. And it's like, yeah, no. You do not sign. Go back to being a comedy actor. You're not the badass. But the Psycho movie from '98, I think it was, is a complete shot-for-shot remake. Every single scene and movement you see in the original Psycho is copied. New movie.
Yeah, you have to understand what made those films back in the day scary and how, because you're talking about people who you can't show too much gore, you can't show too much anything on the screen, and people.
Psycho was the first movie that showed a toilet being used on screen.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Like, you imagine them redoing The Birds? Like, that would be okay. I mean, you could.
They did redo The Birds.
They did.
Yeah.
Oh God.
A Birdemic, yeah.
It's no. They actually did do an actual remake of The Birds, but it's a crappy 80s TV movie.
Wait, is that the sequel you're talking about? Because they did do a sequel. I think it was called Birds 2. I think.
Yeah, they did a
Land's
sequel.
End.
But they actually did do a TV movie. I'm pretty sure they did a TV movie. I'm sure I have seen it in my own DVD collection, which has got tons of really crappy B movies. But The Birds is completely different. The Birds is a really good movie. Very suspenseful.
I don't mind the attempt to say, okay, here's a genius. Let's try and do everything he did, only accentuate it, like turn it up. I'm like, okay, that could work.
Oh, but that's not even it. I don't think you're getting how this is literally just a carbon copy. It's not increase or anything.
Right.
It's literally just the exact same movie.
Because usually when you take a recipe and you say, okay, this is this master chef's recipe to make an amazing dish, and you copy it perfectly, it's like, okay, great. But there's a difference between a recipe and remaking the recipe. So if you want to remake the recipes, we need fresher fish, or we need a different fish, or we need different kinds of seasoning. It's like, no. Why did the original work? How did it work? And if you understand the principles of that function, then you can learn to change things or bend things or whatever. If you're just doing shot for shot, there is no point.
There's utterly no point at all. We can.
It's a hard thing to say because Hitchcock is so simple. He's so straightforward. His plots are so obvious. His short stories are great, but they're nothing over the top complicated. And the way he did his shots.
The only reason why the shower scene is so unexpected is because it was at the time it was unexpected. Nowadays, most people would probably have guessed what was going to happen if they've not seen the movie or don't know spoilers. It is kind of clear.
Like, I remember his was it Outer Limits episode? No. No, I'm thinking of William Shatner.
Twilight Zone.
Was it Twilight Zone? Where William Shatner's on a plane and there's a gargoyle outside the plane and no one believes him and he goes crazy.
There's something on the wing.
Yeah, like that.
That got remade
Hawk.
In the Twilight movie, the actual Twilight movie. They remade it with John Lithgow, didn't they?
Oh, jeez.
Hawk, I remember, you talking about the shower scene from Psycho. I remember Mel Brooks actually did a parody on it in one of his lesser-known movies. It was called High Anxiety, the movie.
Yeah, High Anxiety, yeah.
Yeah, and he did a parody of the shower scene where he gets attacked by he's in the shower himself, and he gets attacked by a bellboy with a newspaper, and he's like stabbing him with the newspaper. And then he drops the newspaper, and the ink runs off from the newspaper, and it goes down the drain, like in a parody of the drain. And Mel Brooks tops it off. He tops it off with like, "Oh, that kid gets no tip." And he actually showed that scene to Hitchcock, and Hitchcock just watched it, and he said, "Yeah, in the original, I had the shower had 6 eyelets for the rail. You have 7." That's all he said, apparently.
Yeah.
No, jeez.
In the scene, there's in the shower scene, the knife never actually touches. Was it Marion Crane? That's what the character's called.
I think it touches her, but it never goes into her body. Like you never see any blood. Like you see it like you see it start to touch her body, and then it cuts away.
There's one brief scene where it looks like it might touch her, and everyone goes on points that one out.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Don't. Yeah, on her like her belly, but
Message coming in.
other than that, yeah, I don't think there's any actual. That's what makes it so good. It's such a strange, quick flash of stuff. You don't really know what's going on, and that's what makes the scene really good. But yeah, I don't really know what a point we were making before we went on to high anxiety was. Oh dear, this is the Alzheimer's Sonic again.
Sorry.
Anyway, let's keep going. Mike
no, it's all right.
Mike Testa, Smud, if it was a gargoyle, the movie would be over. I what? Gargoyle? What are we talking? The movie?
Wait, what?
Are we talking about
Gargoyle? The movie would be over.
The Twilight Zone? Or are we talking about a movie?
Oh yeah, the Twilight Zone. Yeah.
It was a gremlin on the plane. It was a gremlin.
Did I say gargoyle?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just love seeing Shatner overact. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's like Nicolas. If you did Nicolas Cage on a plane, that would work. That'd be great.
Because they remade that one in the Twilight Zone movie. Do you remember that one? That movie?
No, I never saw it.
Anybody? Because John Lithgow plays William Shatner's character and it ends. That movie, what's his name? Vic Morrow, is it, or something? Died during production in a helicopter crash on top of him and cut his head off.
Wow.
And it actually stopped Hollywood being able to have access to helicopters for about 10 years. They had to use like stock footage of helicopters afterwards. They couldn't use helicopters near actors anymore.
That's nuts.
Of stuff. Yeah,
wow.
there's actually footage of the actor's death, because it happened in like one of the takes, and he's carrying two illegal child actors, and the helicopter just crashes on top of him and decapitates all three of them.
Whoa.
Yeah. Read up the story behind it. It's it destroyed a lot of professional relationships as well. Like Steven Spielberg wouldn't work with what's his name, who did Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The director of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Who did he work with on? I can't remember. There's like loads of people who stopped working together afterwards. It was a big hoo-ha in Hollywood after that movie. Yeah. But anyway, we can carry on.
All right. Yeah. Whew. That's scary.
Sorry,
okay.
it's just an interesting story.
Yeah, guy gets decapitated by a helicopter. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Diving deeper into Mike Myers' childhood and devoting more time to him, but even that's done pretty generically, and when that's passed, it's just the same story of Halloween again, except with no real surprises.
I think we could disregard all of the Halloween and Friday the 13th films. They're just goofy.
Yeah.
Shock. We get it.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about the Rob Zombie one is Michael Myers kills the kid from Spy Kids, and then kills,
yeah, that's right. He was the bully.
Malcolm McDowell. Yeah.
Oh God, Malcolm McDowell. Yeah, if you ever want to laugh, go watch the gag reel from the Rob Zombie Halloween movie. It's just Malcolm McDowell and what was his name? Not Steven Dorff, Brad Dorff. Just punning it away on set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn, I gotta check that out.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing else of value in this story apart from Danny Trejo getting the TV dropped on his head, which is hilarious.
Here's Mike Testa was about to bring up the Vic Morrow's unfinished part. Yeah, okay, that's okay. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. That's cool. No problem.
Don't worry, I know my uninteresting facts behind movies as well.
Okay.
Even worse than doing the exact same thing is the number 3 reason not to do a remake: doing less. Ben-Hur is one of the biggest films to exist in every meaning of the word. The stunts, the story, the sets, it is the definition of epic. So the idea of seeing a CGI remake where so much less is obviously not there seems degrading. Nightmare on Elm Street is known for its creative depths and original ideas, but with the remake it's either repeated or scaled down. Even the makeup just looks like an unimaginative rehash. It's not different, it's not unique, it's just the same thing except so much less. It's a guy who controls dreams that's burned alive. You can do something cooler with this design. The original Wicker Man was a surreal and bizarre experience. And while the remake is certainly bizarre and entertaining in how bad the choices they made are, so much of the creative environment is lost, resulting in what most people can agree is a god-awful movie. Sometimes the opposite can be true too, when you take too much out and replace it with too much explanation. The Shining and Alice in Wonderland remakes go way overboard in trying to make a super detailed and complicated story. But that's not what we loved about the originals. We didn't know what everything meant. We didn't need a reason for all the strange visuals. That's what was part of making it such a unique experience. By trying to add more explanation, it took away the imagination.
Patch it through.
They say the devil is in the detail in this situation. They're definitely right. Whether for better or worse, all of these elements represent the most important thing in making a remake. It's heart. It's passion. It's reason for being.
Well, that's just any movie, any production. So, but he is right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's completely.
Yeah, and the Shining remake that was directed by Stephen King himself, and that was a TV movie.
Yeah, but
which is bizarre, and barely anybody remembers it.
But he's shit at movie making. When will people realise this? Name one good movie that he's made.
Maximum Overdrive. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that because that's the only one anyone can really think of.
Funny, this ATM called me an asshole.
Oh. I'm trying to think. No, there's nothing he really does. Every good adaptation of a Stephen King book has been done by someone else, and is nothing like the book.
Okay,
he's not that good. I'm going to go out there and say that he's not that good.
You have to. He's a smart guy. He could type really fast, but I don't like his books. But that's just me.
He needs to stop sending everything in Maine.
It's obviously there's two of us who said he's not that good.
Yeah. Cocaine isn't enough for him.
He needs to stop sending everything in Maine.
Yeah, the only thing I know that was half decent of his was do you remember the movies? Was it Creep Show? They made like a couple of them, and he's in one where he gets turned into like a plant, and he blows his brains out.
That was the first one, which is the first Creep Show
hilarious. Movie. And that's pretty much it. That's all. That's the last thing I know what he was good for.
Was that like Tales from the Crypt? Is that?
It's like that, but it's a similar vein to it, but it's completely it's just.
It was very comic style, like like
comic.
Some of the shots were very comic book panels style. Yes. It was very, very good. And it was a movie where you could see what was his name? Leslie Nielsen as a villain. Usually you think of him and you think of him from Airplane and Naked Gun, but here he was a villain and he was a bastard.
Yeah, he kills what's his name from Cheers?
Ted something. The guy from Cheers. I forget his name. Yeah. Ted something.
Ted Danson.
And he killed his wife too. Like he buried them. He buried them in the beach. Sand. Yeah, up to their heads and let the tide come.
Yeah.
Wow.
And placed cameras there so he could watch it while he was sat drinking wine.
Yeah, and they
come back from the dead and killed him. Yeah, which is funny.
Okay, that sounds kind of cool, actually.
You should watch them. They're quite good. There's one called The Crate, which has got.
That one.
A crate comes from South America, and it's got like a monkey monster creature in it. and the professor at the school who finds it uses the monkey monster to eat his horrible wife,
who's an alcoholic.
Who's an alcoholic and everything. It's really weird.
All right, here's Mike Testa. Don't worry, Vic's head will just come back with Landis's body, like in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh no!
Oh yes, Landis. What's his name? Is it the director Landis? What's his name? Is it John Landis? Is that the director's name?
Don't know.
It's the only name I can think of. John Landis.
Yeah, John Landis. Yeah, he fell out with Steven Spielberg. Yeah, he fell out with Steven Spielberg over that death, because John Landis was the director of that segment that Vic Morrow was in, and Steven Spielberg was director of a different segment, the first segment. So, yeah, they fell out because of all the problems. That's it. That's the whole story behind it.
All right. Well, I think we're almost done here.
Yeah.
Everything that almost can't be explained. The best remakes, even the most different ones, manage to capture the heart of the original source material.
Oh, it's silent.
Whether they improve on it or take it in a different direction, the connection is always there. And the worst remakes always don't capture it. They either try too hard, not hard enough, or just focus on the wrong thing. In a time where very little is original, it's hard to figure out what's going to capture the heart of something and what isn't. I never would have imagined an Evil Dead remake would be of any worth. Who the hell would have thought a musical of a B-movie would surprise me?
That movie was terrible.
What we do know is a lot more remakes are coming, whether we want them to or not. Some surprise us with how good they are, some surprise us with how bad they are, but the ones we'll remember the most surprisingly don't give us something old, they always give us something uniquely new. I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy, remember it so you don't have to.
All right, that's it.
Yeah,
the rest is all just talks about
advertising for
I was going to say, he's got like 2 minutes left.
Yeah, no, he's got stuff to talk about some disease or helping the poor.
Charity stuff.
Yeah.
At the time.
Helping the poor, disabled, the needy. Not interested in that.
Okay, so we can do another one. We got plenty of time if you guys are interested.
Yeah,
sure.
do another one. I've got nothing. Smud.
I just want to say really quick that Evil Dead movie, they made a musical out of that, which blows my mind. Like, really?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I know. Actually, I was the webmaster of that website. Believe it or not.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
I know.
Wow. How you?
Yeah, was really into musicals.
That information.
Well, no, I worked downtown Toronto, and I was right next door to the Pantages Theatre. And for whatever reason, this small little company got the contract for the web hosting of the Evil Dead musical. And I didn't make the website; I just maintained it. So I was updating and making sure it was up.
Is that why? Is that why it only lasted for like 2 weeks?
I have no. Yeah.
Well, this is dead in the water. It's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, like they pay basically nothing because they don't know the rates, and it's like, yeah, they set this thing up like years and years ago, and it was very simple website to maintain. So, but blood splatter, wow, they love their blood splatter in that production. So, anyway, let's go on to the next video from Channel Awesome. This is the Lion King Disneycember. He does have another Lion King review, 2019, but this one is the animated version, I believe. So I could be wrong.
Oh, right.
The 2011 Lion King, I think. Anyway, let's get going.
Whoa.
And now we come to the big one. The Lion King, the highest grossing 2D animated film of all time. When this movie came out, every kid was nuts. We were humming all the songs, we were reenacting all the scenes, we were talking about all the characters. It was just a gigantic flick. So, is it bad to say I think it's kind of overrated? Okay, just hear me.
It is overrated.
While I don't think it's bad, I don't think it's...
Don't boo. I've seen what you cheer.
I don't even know if I necessarily put it in the top 5. But that doesn't mean there aren't some very impressive things about it, or that the film as a whole doesn't work. Well, here, let's start from the beginning. We start with the birth of the new Prince Simba. Do I even need to tell you how they celebrate this? So young Simba is shown around by King Mufasa how to rule as a good king. But his uncle Scar is angry because he was next in line to be king. So he constantly tries to set traps with the hyenas to kill him off. But Mufasa is always there to save him, so there's only one logical choice: kill Mufasa. This leads to a very intense and very well done chase scene with a bunch of wildebeest. Scar sees his opportunity and throws him off a cliff. Simba, thinking that he started the stampede, feels incredibly guilty and Scar advises him to run away. Why he doesn't just kill him right there, I don't know. But Simba goes into exile and comes across a team known as Timon and Pumbaa. They tell him that it's okay to run away from your problems and start a new life over. And that's exactly what he does. He spends most of his years growing up with the two and decides never to go back. That is until his old childhood friend shows up and tells him that things are terrible back at home. And since he is the rightful king, he's the only one that can go back and make things better. But Simba doubts himself, thinking he still killed his father until he gets a vision in his
They are related.
His father says nut up, and Simba decides to go back home and fight his uncle. And you know the drill. Big climax, comic relief, get some laughs, and then the final showdown between the two of them. Okay, so what problems do I have with a story that actually seems almost adult? And that is stole from the most famous of adult plays. Well, let's get to my biggest problem with the film. The message. Actually, the message I really like, and I think it's a very adult message. I especially like it when he talks to Rafiki about it.
Ow! Jeez, what was that for? It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it, or
kill it, if you have to.
Now that's pretty clever, and I'm totally behind it. What I'm not
Thank you,
behind is
Kylo.
that when he does go back to face his fears start to win. And everything he was taught before suddenly is working against him. Nobody even gets behind.
Yeah, see, that's kind of the problem with growing up when he runs away. He's told to forget everything, like no worries, and then he's taught again to say, "Yeah, just forget about it." It's like, okay.
Yeah, he already knew that. He already knew that.
He already had the lesson with him, but the lesson itself is not a very good lesson to teach kids. It's a difference between focus on the positive, not the negative, and just forget everything in the past. Just don't worry, no responsibilities. Don't bother with learning anything. Just have a good time. Do whatever you want. You're like, wait a second, that's not a good lesson for kids.
You know about lifestyle gets you. You're in your mid-30s. You're in a dead-end job. You've your wife's taken everything, and you're living in a one-bedroom flat, barely scraping by on tins of beans.
Oh my God, Hawk is talking about a much more interesting movie.
I'm actually talking about my own lifestyle, but hey ho.
Yeah, I know, but like you could get Tarantino to make a movie out of it or something.
I got this great concept for a movie. Want to hear my pitch? Yeah.
And Tarantino right at the end, he goes, "I'll do it on one condition." And I'm like, "Yes, you can say the N word."
He's got a foot fetish too.
Feet fetish, yeah.
Tarantino, yeah, he's got a foot fetish.
I want a camera angle from your feet up. Can you do that for me? Like, okay.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Film your foot hours. Sure.
Sure, whatever. Give me that money.
Just sign the check, Tarantino.
Nobody's standing up for him. That is until it turns out he didn't commit the crime that he thought he did. So, I guess the moral of the story is never take responsibility for what you've done because nobody will be behind you unless it turns out you didn't really do it. Yeah, how is this confronting his past? It's a past that never happened, so it doesn't matter. And even when he thought it did happen, the movie didn't support him. Almost as if the film was saying if he did accidentally kill his father, he deserves to die. Look, nobody's on his side until he comes out and says, haha, wasn't me. And I'm sorry, that's a serious flaw. If you think it's something that just my over-analyzing adult mind thought of, no, I was thinking of this as a kid, too. This film didn't teach me to come forward with my mistakes and to take the responsibility for it. It taught me to convince people that I didn't do the mistake, because that way I'll have a happy ending. Okay, so good intention gets totally botched. What else don't I like? Well, the songs. Yeah, I know, but I'm sorry, I don't like these songs. Well, I take it back. Be Prepared is awesome. Circle of Life is good. Though I think a lot of that is more Hans Zimmer's orchestrations. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Hate it. I Can't Wait to Be King? Hate it. Hakuna Matata? Holy fuck balls, I hate this song. I hated it when it first came out. I was boggled by the fact that everybody was actually singing this. It's annoying. While I was constantly humming Be Prepared at school, all the other kids were constantly singing Hakuna Matata.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
On top of that, big shock, I think Matthew Broderick is pretty bland. Jonathan Taylor Thomas is a little bit too, but to be fair, he's a kid, and he really does sell those crime scenes. The villain, well, good, is a little too simplistic. I don't know, he seems so smart and intelligent, but then when he takes over, he seems like a little...
It's a Disney flick. What do you want? Like, what do you want? A complex plot from the villain?
But by the way, he's won. He doesn't have to do anything anymore. He's won.
Yeah, his plot is done.
He's allowed to gloat.
Yeah. I don't get if my only plan was to take control of a kingdom and then live in luxury. Yeah. I won't be doing much more after I'd taken over the kingdom.
Granted, the place is going to shit around him, while he's just sitting on his ass. But you know.
Yeah,
but he. Yeah. He's won. There's nothing else to add to it. It's like, but he's a bad ruler. Yeah, hence why he wasn't king to start with.
It would be nice if there was more to it, but
Message coming in.
You don't have to go that complicated when the focus is the drama of the protagonist, not the antagonist. You should do more, but it's not necessary. If your story is that simple, and it's for kids, so we get it. Keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's Alex Halo. Let it go. Yeah, I know. Another Disney song about just forget everything. Nothing matters. No problem.
Great
message.
Let it go. My response to that fucking song. Fucking can't stand it.
Yeah. Adults are like, wait a second, we can't actually let it go. We have to get up tomorrow.
Thank God the sequel didn't produce any songs that got that popular.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
They tried though, but
they tried desperately.
I get down my knees and I pray whatever imaginary friend is up in the sky that they didn't make another song like Let
Was
It
it
Go.
extremely popular? I thought it was like crazy at the box office. I can't remember.
What,
Both.
Frozen 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was popular.
I think there was like one song to make. They tried to make.
What was it?
Let It Go. I can't remember the name of the song. It was the song where she's like hearing like a voice or something, and she's following it through the town. Elsa, I forget what it's called. That should tell you right there. How memorable it is.
Wow. I just checked the budget.
My split personalities coming
The
again.
budget for each film was $150 million, and the first film brought in $1.3 billion, and the second brought in $1.45 billion.
Wow.
How?
Kids.
It is worldwide, not only in North America, but in China, Japan. Like, it's popular all over the
Europe,
world.
Yeah. One funny thing about Frozen 2 in the UK is, did it come out near Joker as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember, to be honest, because I went and saw it with my wife, well, then girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years ago, 2019, November.
Yeah. In the UK,
Very similar movies.
There was more violence at a screening of Frozen 2.
I remember that.
Every single screen. Yeah, there was a massive fight at this theater, at the cinema, between.
Okay, so I shot some people.
12.
No, I'm kidding.
Between some 12-year-olds and their parents, there was like a proper punch up while they're waiting in the queue for Frozen 2, and everyone in the Joker queue was like, awkwardly walking away.
You get what you fucking deserve.
I think me and my wife were in that queue. We went and saw that.
It was so funny because in the UK we're going like, oh, Joker's going to cause all these problems. Shall we do America Doors and get police on the doors to make sure there aren't any shootings and stuff like that? And then literally there's a massive punch up, and I think 12 people got injured.
But the impetus on the Joker film was social media. Rather, they were probably being inspired by the possible reaction to the Dark Knight and what happened with that shooting.
Yeah, but it wasn't. he wasn't actually anything to do with The Dark Knight. He shot up.
Yeah, I think it was just like coincidence, really.
Yeah, he even came out and said it had nothing to do with wanting to copy anything to do with Batman. It's just that was the biggest film of the year, so he knew a lot of people would be there.
Yeah, I think I remember like a news story where like the newscaster was like, "Oh, he dressed up as the Joker," and then they're showing his photo of him in court. And I'm like, his hair is orange.
Yeah,
his hair is orange. He didn't have it. He didn't. Yeah. No, all he did was dye his hair orange so that him and his friend could see each other clearly in the darkened cinema, because orange shows up, and it's quite noticeable with like the lights and stuff. And that's why he did it. It had nothing to do with the Joker and stuff. It was just a story that got carried away by media.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, shocking! I know. The media lie.
That just sucks out all the dignity and likability that you have for a villain. It's like if Maleficent, after she got her way, suddenly started going
likability.
And there's also details like how did the
main villain.
Yeah, but you like him for being a villain. That's the thing.
Yeah, I understand that. But
technically, Maleficent did technically get her way for a little while, anyway.
Yeah, but when he's mentioned like likability, it's a bit like, no, we like him for being a villain. Showing how he's a pathetic ruler is showing how he's the villain. It's not about making him likable. It's saying like, yeah, you might like him, but yeah, he is the bad guy. Look, you shouldn't be rooting for this guy. He's terrible.
Definitely.
Here's Alex. ReZero's lesson is to stop being stupid and learn from your mistakes, Subaru. Well, when you die and get respawned, you kind of go, oh, let's not do that ever again. So the lesson.
Ow, that hurt.
Yeah, I'm dead. Now I'm back. Oh my god.
Okay, won't make that mistake again.
Yeah,
I'll make a completely different mistake.
It's taking the concept of a video game and making it more realistic, which is scary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Blowing back, but took over. Why did the weather get better? Why is it suddenly green? But that's Disney logic. I can't go that hard about it. So okay, I've bitched about the movie long enough. What do I like about it? Well, it's big. I mean, friggin' big. If you can see this movie on the big screen, see it. When Scar's paw comes down for the first time, it's just massive. I actually remember somebody in the audience going, whoa! On top of that, the characters aren't great, but they're good.
That's cool.
James Earl Jones as Mufasa is a great leader. Jeremy Irons is over the top as the villain, but he's still pretty enjoyable. The hyenas are funny. Rowan Atkinson has a few good puns here and there. I'm not a huge fan of Timon and Pumbaa, but I stomach them okay. They get a laugh every once in a while. And even though the message is sort of botched, I like the message it's trying to get across. But like I said, what makes this film good is just the size of it. And it doesn't just come from the animation, it does come from the story. It's a big story. Like I said, it's basically a kid version of Hamlet, but they don't sugarcoat it that much. They don't pull a Bambi's mom where she dies off screen. No, you see the body. That was a big thing for kids back then.
I don't know. I think pushing it off as a Hamlet.
And Simba doesn't die at the end.
Yeah, no, like he's not out for revenge. Like that's not his plot. He's just sort of doing whatever he wants. And then he meets up with his old cousin and they're like, "What? Things are bad? Why?"
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like some pretentious pillock like 15 years ago said, "Oh, Lion King's like Hamlet," and since then every other pretentious pillock has said Lion King's like Hamlet without actually looking at what Hamlet is.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit like, well, but he takes the throne from his uncle, like what happens in Hamlet. It's like, no.
So does same thing with Jason and the Argonauts.
It's probably like the only story element from Hamlet is the stealing the throne from the father. You know.
Mhm. Yeah. It's yeah. Anyway, you lot can continue. Talk amongst yourselves. That was my bit. I'm done there.
A death scene right in the middle of a big action-packed moment was pretty unexpected for Disney, at least at that time. So overall, I do like it. I do wish some of the other Disney films got more attention and made more money, but that doesn't mean the original film is bad. It's a big film with a pretty big story and a pretty big message. I just
Big
have my own
story.
personal issues with them. It's a movie I was glad to see several times in the theater, and chances are when they re-release it again, I'll go and check it out a few more times.
But he started.
That was it.
That
was it as the review of it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool. You could have gone to a lot more of things.
I liked it because it was big.
It was big.
I like it big.
Well.
My children's movies have to be big, guys.
It's like Hamlet, but it's big.
Big.
Not really.
And it's for children.
It's like Hamlet, but furry.
Big.
And I didn't like most of the songs in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, most of the songs are
Big.
As long as the songs
were
are
they
big
songs, though? Yeah. I could think of a lot more problems with Lion King that he brought up.
Yeah, it's a combination of visuals and music and classic scenes that just work well. That's when you see. I don't know if you're familiar. They do a stage production of a musical of Lion King. Very good stage production.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Actually seen it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, very well done. So you can take these things, adapt them to the worlds they should exist in when it's already a thing in the same genre. So if it's a musical, that translates very easily to the stage. So you can accomplish these things.
Only problem is if the lion gets loose in the crowd, that causes a bit of problems.
Yeah, there is that.
The danger. No, but I think the reason why Lion King's so popular is because it came just at that sweet spot of Disney movies, like the height of Disney.
Yes, the timing was very crucial.
The 2D
came perfectly.
Classic. Yeah, this is right before 3D became a bigger part of their album.
This is what is it? It's a year before Toy Story came out.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Because Lion King's 94 and Toy Story's 95, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So it came out just before, and then obviously once Toy Story came out, that changed the landscape. Because after that, I think it's only what Disney movies came out after Lion King.
Plenty.
Yeah, I know plenty, but like the big ones, which because you had Hercules,
I think Tarzan,
which was a failure.
Hercules.
Tarzan wasn't as big as what they thought it was going to be. Hercules wasn't as big. And then they made.
Prince of Egypt.
Was
right?
Aladdin before or after Lion King? I can't remember.
Before.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
92? Did that come out? Yeah, 92, I think.
Jesus, that was a long time ago.
When did Beauty and the Beast come out? The original cartoon.
Jeez.
I want to say 94, but I might be wrong on that.
Same year as Lion King, I think.
Yeah, the only thing I really remember,
it
wasn't animated though, was Hook. Like that was like the big one I liked.
Oh yeah, Hook. Yeah.
Great movie.
Mhm. Yep, love that one.
Dustin Hoffman as Captain Hook.
That was
great.
That is the best. That is the best live action version of Captain Hook. I will die on this hill.
I'll die with you.
Yeah, Julia Roberts was pretty good. Everyone in that film did a very good job, I thought.
Jason Isaacs.
He was good. Yeah.
An interesting version of Captain Hook.
Oh, Maggie Smith. I remember her. She was great.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those films that got the best talent. They threw it all together. It worked out very well. Modern take on Peter Pan. Great stuff.
Didn't they have
not to mention, you got Robin Williams in there too, you know.
Well, that is the star of the show, of course, but there are so many things that
Bob Hoskins was in there as well as Smee, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
And then he went.
You just went really loud then for a second. Jesus. All I heard was Bob Hoskins in there. Yeah. I was like, Jesus.
John Hopkins.
Message
I like Bob Hoskins as an actor.
He was
God
great.
rest his soul. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Here's a hot take. He played the best Mario. That's it. Hot take.
In like what, all media or just movies? Because yes.
I think there was only the one movie, wasn't there? I don't know.
Yes, there is only one movie, so yes.
I mean,
There's
he actually
only
looked like
two of
Mario.
them,
I mean,
so,
hey,
yes.
I'm just saying, he actually looked like Mario. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Obama,
Yeah.
Oh, here's Joe
but-
Crazy.
John Leguizamo. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that.
Boy, oh boy. Joe Crazy. Monsters Inc. came out after The Lion King. I don't know when though.
2001.
maybe.
2001.
Yeah, that's about right.
All I
Yeah, but
remember
that's Pixar.
from like the
co-production,
80s
isn't it?
and the 90s was my aunt
DreamWorks,
who
yeah.
would do a lot of daycare. So she had like an entire library of all the VHSs of Disney. So she'd take care of kids. She just
Yep.
pop them in.
My grandparents used to have in their living room an alcove with all VHS tapes on it,
Yeah.
and there was like one row bit called Kids Movies, and it was all the Disney movies and all of the cartoon stuff. Some really like B movie ones as well. Not Disney like
Oh yeah.
knockoff Disney ones. So yeah, those. So yeah, I used to watch all of them. It was fun growing up.
All right. I think we've
yeah,
exhausted our
Lion-
Disney knowledge.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, with the Lion King, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but he could have said a lot more. To be honest,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
wrong.
But they were short. That was the
I thought
point
it
of the
was a good
screen.
movie. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right, but I don't understand the religious love you get with it. It's like, this is the greatest 2D animated movie of all time, and you're like, well, just chill, just calm down. Let's,
I mean, you might think that way as a kid, sure.
There's people who think it as an adult.
Ooh boy.
Mm-hmm. Man, I got called heartless because I don't cry at Mufasa's death. So by a girl. So come on.
Aw.
That will stay with you, Hawk, until you die.
Yeah, in a stampede trying to save my child.
Like a Telltale game, that little message. She will remember this later.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
God, I
That
miss
thing-
Telltale
that-
games.
I don't.
Well, but still, I kind of miss them. They put out some pretty good content.
They're making a comeback, aren't they?
Really?
Like,
Are they?
At least I heard the company came back.
If they can
after-
make a proper sequel to what's that fantasy series they started with Big B? What's his name?
Wolf Among Us?
Wolf Among
Oh,
Us.
The Wolf Among Us. Yeah, that's
Oh.
actually based on a comic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They got to redo that or do another sequel. Something. Give me something.
Well, hopefully if they come back, hopefully no massive global pandemic causes everything to close down.
It's
They
something.
might have a chance.
It's something which resonates. The people who like Neil Gaiman stuff and cartoons in general. Like it hits all these notes. And you're like, yeah, this is kind of everything. Just a modern noir take on the mythos of stories for children. I thought that was such a cool look at things. But
Yeah.
it was from a comic book. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and
Okay. Tyler Preston, anime recommendation, redo of Healer. Yes.
Message
Okay.
coming
Thank
in.
you.
Patching it through.
I think we heard that last time too.
Actually, yeah. What movie would you like to see remade? That's
You know what? I think
are we talking live action or
Yeah.
animated or what?
Well, we'll do live action, then we'll go into animated.
I would just
So
because
I
it's my
can-
favorite, and I know that you can do a sequel as well. But The Princess Bride, it's so iconic, and you don't have to do much, but you could instead of Andre the Giant, pick out the guy from the Game of Thrones, the mountain.
Yeah.
Like get some guys who are just clever and interesting and fun nowadays, because I think every generation should have its own version of The Princess Bride, and just have fun.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Bea, what would you like to see?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Plus, I've been drinking since we started this video, so I'm a little bit.
Well, well, for me, what I've always, I know this is going to sound really bad, but I've always wondered what a modern take on Good, the Bad, and the Ugly would be like.
It would be interesting.
That'd be interesting, because that's a 3-hour movie.
Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic movie, but I just wondered, how it would look like with better not effects. Well, yeah, better effects, and I don't know, just a modern take on it, as in like a modern look of spaghetti western.
Like the style of like the modern cinema.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an idea.
Film.
Don't hang me for it. But
no, it's a pretty good idea. I mean, no bullshit. It's a pretty good idea. I mean, be interested to see who you get to play the characters. Who would you get to replace Clint Eastwood? To be honest,
Yeah,
he can play his role again.
Yeah,
it's like a 90-year-old man.
Who would I actually get?
This summer, Denzel Washington is Blondie. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so Mike Testa, Kill a Kill by Tarantino. Okay, the reason why that won't work is if Tarantino likes his foot shots, and what's her name transforms into whatever, and you see her underboob, like all of the underboob, probably wouldn't be good for most audiences. So
no.
I remember a long time ago, I can't remember where I read this, Tarantino wanted to make a movie version of Half-Life.
Wow.
I don't remember where I read that, but I remember he loved the game, but he wanted to make like a movie version of it, and nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
How can you have the foot fetish in Half-Life? Like, I'm confused.
No idea.
When Freeman looks down, he sees his
Head
foot.
crabs. Yeah. But quite honestly, I'm like so sick of remakes at this point that I just want people to like make new ideas, or like at least just inspired by like all the.
No, you don't, because you don't like Last Jedi, because that's a new idea. That was a new idea, and everyone hated it.
Fuck off!
What was the new idea? I didn't hear that.
Last Jedi was a new idea, and everyone hated it.
Oh, okay, yeah, fuck off.
Well then.
Oh, that's not my view.
It was so new. I went through with the Holdo maneuver.
Sorry, Hawk. I've been drinking, so I'm a little bit tipsy right now.
New, like I explained, new doesn't always mean good.
Of course, yeah, but I meant that I don't want existing franchises to have a sequel or a remake. That's why I meant.
I understand what you mean, but I was just saying, when people go like, yeah,
just to clarify,
and then people go like, yeah, but this new thing you didn't like. It's like, yeah, I'm glad they try to make something new, but I can still say it's bad.
Agreed.
All right, gentlemen. I think we're done. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate your time and
before midnight. So
and it wasn't.
It's getting earlier and earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't driving us nuts. We didn't have a crazy brain-shattering experience. We're just sitting there going, "Yeah, it's not bad."
He was very
yeah.
relaxed in these two videos.
Yeah, he had no skits, so he couldn't go apeshit on us.
Yeah, but he didn't do any like screaming and shouting as well. It was very
especially in this last video too.
He could have gone really off on one, but no, he was quite reserved, which is what I mean. He's a lot better when he doesn't try to be overly funny.
Message coming in.
Whoa.
Patching it through.
Super chats coming in. What's happening, Mike? Mike Testa. but foot scenes are constant in anime. Don't lie. Maybe running animations, but not feet. Maybe when someone kicks someone. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very specific.
I don't know. I don't watch that weeb shit. So.
Rory Vesper.
Oh my God, Shiny, you're here?
Shiny here?
Message coming in.
Oh no. Remake of 9, the Tim Burton movie, and the prequels. The remake of 9? Do you mean?
Oh, is that
Star Wars Episode 9? Or a Tim Burton movie?
No,
9.
Are we talking about 9? That one with the little sock puppet?
Oh yeah, I remember that movie. God, that was a long time ago.
The dolls. So would you rather see a remake of that or something else? Was that what the super chat said?
Remake of 9, and probably what meant was the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah,
I guess.
I could redo this.
Well, I mean, they're already considered non-canon already, aren't they?
Oh no.
The J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson movies, they're considered non-canon already.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That would be great if they come out like next year's. Yeah, those didn't happen. We're doing our own thing.
To be honest with you, we don't even have to come out and say those didn't happen. 90% of the fan base have literally gone, yeah, they didn't happen.
Pretty much, yeah.
The actors don't care. Disney's like, did we do that? Yeah, okay.
Mass Effect 3 didn't happen.
Yeah.
Mass Effect Andromeda didn't happen.
Dragon Age Inquisition didn't happen.
Deus Ex 2 didn't happen.
It didn't happen, yeah. There's a lot of games that didn't happen. There's a lot of movies that didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, you were drunk. You remember this?
Mike Testa. Pulp Fiction is referenced in Kill la Kill. I think Pulp Fiction is pretty much a very popular thing, so lots of people reference.
Pulp Fiction's referenced in
everything.
Yeah.
So.
Every movie, game, TV show, comic, strip, radio, drama.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction's referenced
God! I just remembered movies that are being remade. They're remaking. I think I've said this before. They're remaking Clue.
Really?
You remember Clue from 1984? They're remaking it.
Yeah, but which version? Which version?
No, wait a minute. And I looked at the IMDb page. Yes, it has an IMDb page. Ryan Reynolds is going to be in it, but they don't say who he's going to play as. My money is he's going to play Mr. Green.
Okay, Clue is my second most favorite movie, so it could actually work because it is a joke. It is a farce kind of a movie. So if it's funny and clever, it could work great. Mm-hmm. So it is possible, but they could totally screw it up too.
Will they? Yeah, would they do what they did what they did with the actual Clue movie? They have like 3 different endings.
The original
they showed in different cinemas.
Yeah, that was I was just gonna say that was like they showed like a different ending in a different cinema, but when it went to VHS, they combined it into like here's what could have happened, but here's what also happened, type of thing.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and it was great. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, didn't that have Tim Curry in it?
Yes, it did. He was the butler.
Yeah.
He was. That's like the one movie I know him the best at is Clue. Such amazing.
Tim Curry from Clue.
Yes.
Exactly.
There's like a million.
I know.
Rocky Horror Picture.
He's amazing.
Fans
at
just
least he doesn't
screaming out.
At least he doesn't know Tim Curry from Red Alert 3.
Oh yeah. Have you seen that meme?
Capitalism.
or Tim Curry from Scary Movie 2.
Oh boy.
Tim Curry passed away, didn't he?
No, he's still alive. He had a stroke.
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair.
He had a stroke. Oh right, I thought he passed away. Oh.
I heard that he's actually recovering or something.
Well, he's
he's kind of old, yeah.
They actually did a remake. They actually did a remake of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was a TV movie. It was on like I forget what it was on, like ABC or whatever it was. And it was like they had it on YouTube for a while, but they took it down. But yeah, they had him as the narrator, and he was like in his wheelchair, and like he was really like, And then, oh, Jesus, like, why did you even bring him back? You're like, oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. No, Tim, no. No.
And it's a step to the left.
I just remember him very strongly from Dragon Age Origins as Hal.
How?
Yeah, Arl Hal.
Yep. Oh, he's a vicious bastard.
So many properties that he was in, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Great actor.
The Wild Thornberries.
Yeah. Yeah. That always surprises me when you look at his like filmography. And then you got Nigel Thornberry. You're like, what the?
Anyway, we just hit the 2-hour mark. I think it's a perfect time to leave. So thank you guys for all your attention and super chats and chats in general. It's always entertaining to have you guys here. That was a great 2-parter. We can do this again whenever we get a tie or we have 2 short videos to cover. So thank you for all your time. Yeah. We'll talk to you tomorrow, hopefully. And have a great night.
Have a good night.
I'm going to go pass out now because I'm feeling pretty tipsy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you do